Have you ever looked in the mirror and quietly wondered where your energy went? Not just the physical strength, but the spark, the sense of being fully alive in your body, present in your relationships, confident in your masculinity. If you're a man over 60, you're not alone. Many men feel that slow, frustrating shift, less drive, less firmness, less connection. But what if the answer isn't in another prescription or procedure? What if it's something much simpler, something already in your kitchen? In this video, I'll walk you through a handful of everyday vegetables that can support blood flow, restore natural testosterone, and help you feel like yourself again. Not theory, not hype, just real food that works with your body. So, take a breath, stay with me, and let's explore what your body has been quietly asking for all along. 1. Beets, the natural blood flow booster. I remember a quiet conversation with one of my longtime patients, Mr. Harold, a 69-year-old retired firefighter. He was healthy, active, walked his dog every morning, and never missed his annual checkup. But that day, he sat down in my office, eyes lowered, and quietly said, "Doc, I feel fine most days, but when it comes to intimacy, it's like my body has forgotten how to respond. I feel disconnected, not like myself." That kind of quiet confession isn't rare. In fact, it's something I hear from many men over 60. They eat well, stay active, but still experience a slow fade in their performance and confidence in the bedroom. Here's the truth I shared with Harold, and it's something every man over 60 should know. The problem is rarely about desire, it's about circulation. Erections depend entirely on one simple factor: blood flow. If your arteries are narrowed or your blood isn't moving efficiently, you could feel all the desire in the world, but nothing will respond the way it used to. And that's where beets come in. Beets are one of nature's most powerful sources of dietary nitrates. When you consume them, your body converts those nitrates into nitric oxide, a molecule that helps relax and widen your blood vessels. Think of it like opening the floodgates. Suddenly, blood flows more freely, oxygen delivery improves, and pressure builds where it matters most. For men, especially those over 60, that can make the difference between frustration and fulfillment. Scientific studies support this. Clinical trials have shown that regular intake of beetroot juice significantly improves vascular function, lowers blood pressure, and enhances stamina and oxygen efficiency. And for older men who naturally produce less nitric oxide as they age, beets help bridge that gap. When I first recommended beets to Harold, he raised an eyebrow. "Beets? Really?" But he gave it a try. I advised him to drink half a glass of fresh beet juice 3 to 4 times a week. I told him if he didn't like the taste, he could roast them, drizzle with olive oil, or blend them into a smoothie with apples and carrots. That combo, I call it the circulation cocktail, became part of his morning ritual. 6 weeks later, Harold was back. His face looked brighter, posture stronger. He smiled as he sat down and said, "Oh, Doc, I feel awake again. Not just in the bedroom, but in life. My sleep is deeper. I have more energy during the day. My wife even asked me what I've been doing differently." That shift, that spark returning to a man's eyes, is why I do what I do. You see, there's something sacred about helping a man reclaim part of himself he thought was lost to time. And the solution doesn't have to be a pill, a prescription, or a drastic lifestyle change. Sometimes it starts with a vegetable as simple as a beet. So if you've felt slower lately, if intimacy feels more distant, or if you just want to feel strong and alive again, start by nourishing your body with what it already knows how to use. Beets don't trick your system, they support it. They speak the language of your biology, encouraging your blood vessels to open, your circulation to strengthen, and your energy to return. This isn't a gimmick. It's not a shortcut. It's fuel. Real, natural fuel that your body craves more as it ages. So give yourself the gift of better blood flow. Try the beet juice. Try roasting them with a little garlic and olive oil. Make that smoothie. What matters is starting. And once you do, you may be surprised at how quickly your body begins to remember what it once did so easily. And speaking of foods with powerful effects, the next vegetable on our list is one you've seen on every dinner plate as a child, praised by Popeye but misunderstood by most. It doesn't just help with muscle, it influences testosterone and oxygen delivery. Ready to hear what it is? Stay with me. And if you're still watching, type the number 1 in the comments. That way, I know you're still here, still curious, and still determined to reclaim your strength, one small habit at a time. 2. Spinach, the Erections and energy leaf. When people hear the word spinach, they often think of cartoons, canned lunches, or meals they once pushed aside as kids. But in my world, spinach isn't a punchline. It's a quiet powerhouse, a symbol of restoration, of strength that doesn't shout, but steadily returns. I'm reminded of a patient named Richard, a 72-year-old widower who recently found love again after years of believing that chapter of his life was over. When he walked into my office, there was a warmth to him, a soft smile. But beneath that smile was something else. He leaned in and said quietly, "Doc, I love her. I really do. But I'm afraid. Not emotionally, but physically. I'm scared I won't be enough. That my body won't respond the way it used to." That kind of vulnerability is something I've come to recognize. So many older men carry that fear, not of losing interest, but of being let down by their own bodies. They still feel desire, still want to connect, but feel something slipping through their hands. And sometimes they think the solution must be found in pills or procedures, but often it starts with something far simpler. A shift in nourishment, a return to what the body truly understands. Spinach is one of the most underrated allies in this journey. This leafy green is loaded with magnesium, a mineral your body needs to relax blood vessels and allow for better circulation. When your blood flows more freely, your ability to get and keep an erection improves naturally. No tricks, no force. Just cooperation between your blood and your body. But magnesium doesn't stop there. It plays a quiet but powerful role in regulating testosterone, the very hormone that fuels your energy, strength, and desire as a man. As we age, testosterone dips. But the right foods, like spinach, can help buffer that decline and keep your internal engine humming longer. And there's more. Spinach contains folate, a B vitamin that supports pelvic blood flow. Studies have shown that low folate levels are linked to a higher risk of erectile dysfunction. Spinach helps fill that gap, restoring healthy function from the inside. It also fights inflammation, protects your blood vessels, and even supports nerve health, all key when you want intimacy to feel good again, not just work. When I explained all this to Richard, he nodded slowly. "So, what do I do?" he asked. "Do I need to take a supplement?" I smiled and said, "No, you just need to start with your plate." I told him to add spinach wherever it fit, sautéed with his eggs in the morning, blended into a smoothie with banana and almond milk, thrown into soups, or even eaten raw in salads. No big changes. Just small, steady additions. He took it seriously, and 2 months later, Richard returned with a different kind of energy. It was in his posture, his voice, the way he walked into the room. Doc," he said, "something shifted. I feel more present, more awake, and the other night when I was with my wife, it just worked. No pressure, no anxiety. My body remembered." And that's exactly it. When we nourish ourselves with intention, the body often remembers what it was made to do. This is the power of spinach. Not glamorous, not trendy, but deeply effective. A daily handful sends a quiet message to your body. I still care. I still want to live well. I still want to feel strong, loved, and connected. Spinach isn't magic, but it's real, and it works not by overpowering your body, but by partnering with it, by giving your blood vessels the freedom to flow, your hormones the balance to function, your mind the peace to trust again. So if you've been feeling disconnected from your energy or uncertain in moments of intimacy, maybe the answer isn't in trying harder. Maybe it's in softening, in feeding yourself better, in letting nature do what it's always done. Because food, when chosen wisely, has the power to restore. Now, we've talked about circulation and hormones, but there's one more vegetable that deserves your attention. It doesn't just support blood flow, it clears the very pathways that feed it. Think of it as nature's deep cleaner, working from the inside out. It might not be sweet or glamorous, but it has been trusted for centuries to awaken desire and restore vitality. Let's take a closer look, and if you're still with me, drop a number 1 in the comments. It lets me know you're still here, still learning, and still believing in your body's ability to come alive again. 3. Garlic, the bedroom root. Let's be honest, garlic isn't exactly what most people associate with passion. It's bold, it lingers, and it's probably not your first choice before a romantic evening. But what if this humble little bulb held the key to restoring a deeper part of your identity as a man? Not just physically, but emotionally. I want to share with you a story that changed how I see garlic and how one small change helped a man find his spark again. His name was Marvin. He was 74, a retired Navy mechanic who still walked with purpose, though there was a tiredness behind his steady posture. During one of our appointments, he looked me in the eye and said, "Doc, I feel like I'm still sharp in the head, but my body doesn't keep up anymore. I feel like the man I was is slowly slipping away." There was a quiet ache in his words, not despair, just a deep longing to feel present again in his own skin. We talked about his routine, nothing alarming. His diet was decent, he stayed moderately active, but something was missing. I suggested something that caught him off guard. "Try garlic," I said. He laughed. "Garlic? That's what my mom gave me when I had a sore throat." And I nodded. Exactly. She was onto something, but garlic has more to offer than just cold remedies. It can help bring you back to life in the bedroom. You see, garlic contains a compound called allicin, and it's what gives garlic both its distinct aroma and its remarkable power. Allicin improves blood flow by helping to relax and open up your blood vessels. For older men, where stiff arteries and slow circulation can quietly sabotage performance, this is a game changer. When blood flows freely and without resistance, everything works better, including the vessels that support strong, lasting erections. But garlic doesn't stop at circulation. It also plays a surprising role in hormone health. Studies have shown that garlic can help stimulate the release of luteinizing hormone, which then signals the body to produce more testosterone. And for many men over 60, that natural boost is exactly what's needed to feel energized, driven, and intimately alive again. Marvin was skeptical, but he gave it a try. I told him to chop 1 or 2 cloves of raw garlic each day, let them sit for about 10 minutes to activate the allicin, then add them to his dinner. Roasted vegetables, soups, even a bit of olive oil on toast. It didn't matter how, as long as it was consistent. I also encouraged him to take it with dinner to support his overnight hormone cycles and circulation. 6 weeks later, Marvin walked into my office with a grin that said it all. "Doc," he said, "I didn't think it would do much, but I've got energy again." My wife noticed. I'm more affectionate, more engaged, and the other night, well, let's just say we reconnected in a way we hadn't in a long time. That's the power of garlic. Not a miracle cure, not a shortcut, just a natural tool that supports the wisdom already inside your body. You don't need to reinvent yourself. You don't need to chase your younger self. You simply need to clear the path and let your body do what it was always designed to do. And while garlic helps restore flow and balance, the next vegetable works differently. It doesn't just improve your system, it quietly flips a biological switch you might not even know is still there. It may not look like much, but inside this simple stalk is one of the most underrated secrets to male vitality. Let's take a closer look. 4. Celery, the hidden testosterone trick. There's a quiet little vegetable sitting in the back of your fridge right now. You've probably walked past it 100 times. Pale green, watery, nothing special at first glance. But if you're a man over 60 and you've noticed your drive slipping, your mornings starting slower, your confidence dimming, this overlooked stalk might just be what your body's been waiting for. I'm talking about celery. Now I know, celery doesn't exactly scream masculinity. It's often just a crunchy sidekick, something you toss into soup or spread with peanut butter. But behind its humble appearance is a set of powerful compounds that have a surprisingly profound effect on the male body. You see, celery contains natural plant pheromones like androstenone and androstenol. These aren't just fancy words. These compounds can help signal your body to optimize testosterone release, and yes, they even influence how others perceive your vitality, from the way you carry yourself to the subtle scent your body gives off. Let me tell you about someone who put it to the test. His name was Leonard. He was 66 when he walked into my office. A former high school football coach, tall, steady, the kind of man who once lit up a room without trying. But that day, he sat down slowly and said, "Doc, I don't feel like myself. I wake up heavy, like the fire's gone out. And it's affecting everything, from how I move to how I connect with my wife." We looked at his numbers. His testosterone was on the low end for his age, not alarmingly so, but enough to feel it. He didn't want shots or medications. Just something real, he said. So I told him about celery. I explained how it also contains apigenin, a natural anti-inflammatory compound shown to support testosterone production, and how it's loaded with vitamin K, which enhances circulation and strengthens your cardiovascular system, the foundation of any strong erection. Unlike medications that override your system, celery works with it, gently, gradually, effectively. Leonard gave it a shot. He started juicing celery with apple, lemon, and a hint of ginger every morning, swapped out salty snacks for fresh celery sticks in the afternoon. He didn't expect miracles, and for the first few weeks, not much changed. But around week 4, he came back with a new light in his eyes. "Doc," he said, "something shifted. I'm up before my alarm again, I've got energy. I even catch myself smiling for no reason. And my wife, let's just say she noticed a difference too." That's the power of consistency. When you give your body the right cues, it starts to remember, not just how to function, but how to feel, how to be. Celery won't give you instant results. It doesn't work like that. But it helps create the internal harmony where strength, clarity, and desire can come back to life. It may not be glamorous, but it's effective. And more importantly, it's natural. It's a way of telling your body, I still care. I still want to show up fully in this life. So if you've been feeling like something's missing, start small. Add a stalk to your day. Give it a few weeks. You might find, like Leonard did, that your energy returns in ways you didn't think were possible anymore. And the best part is that it's not just physical, it's emotional, it's mental. That quiet confidence, that grounded feeling, it starts to come back. Now we've explored beets, spinach, garlic, and celery, all powerful in their own way. But there's one more vegetable you need to know about. It's not leafy. It's not watery, and it's not something most people associate with the bedroom. But inside its sweet, crunchy texture lies a blend of antioxidants and nutrients that support fertility, performance, and even sharper mental focus. Stay with me. You might never look at this vegetable the same way again. Let's get into it. 5. Carrots, the fertility and blood flow combo. If I asked you which vegetable helps improve eyesight, chances are you'd immediately think of carrots. And you'd be right. But what if I told you that same bright orange root, often tossed into salads or roasted beside your dinner, holds another secret? One that speaks directly to blood flow, nerve function, and even fertility. It may sound surprising, but carrots are one of the quiet champions of men's sexual health, especially after 60. Let me tell you about Paul, a 71-year-old retired electrician from Michigan, a man with hands that still bore the calluses of decades of work and eyes that reflected deep loyalty. He had been married to the same woman for over 40 years. "Doc," he said to me, his voice almost a whisper, "we still hold hands every evening, but when it comes to anything more, my body just doesn't show up anymore. And I miss it. I miss feeling like myself." That moment stayed with me. Because Paul wasn't broken. He was simply waiting to be reminded that his body still had the tools. It just needed a little help. That's when I introduced him to the idea of using food as support, in particular, carrots. You see, carrots are packed with beta-carotene and antioxidants. These nutrients help protect and repair the tiny blood vessels and nerves that make strong erections possible. As we age, oxidative stress builds up in our system from years of poor diet, chronic stress, inflammation, and time itself. These internal stressors can damage the very roots of arousal and sensitivity, but carrots fight back. They nourish the areas that time tries to wear down. Carrots also play a role in male fertility, and while many men in their 70s aren't thinking about having children, this is about something deeper. Fertility is a reflection of your system's vitality. Research has shown that carrots can improve sperm count and motility, which speaks to the overall health of the reproductive system. That vitality doesn't just show up in lab results. It shows up in how a man carries himself, how he feels about his body, how he connects with his partner. And let's not forget circulation. Carrots are high in vitamin A and vitamin C, both of which help keep blood vessels strong and elastic. That's essential not just for your heart, but for maintaining the blood flow that makes physical intimacy possible. They also contain fiber, which helps regulate blood sugar. Why does that matter? Because erratic blood sugar and insulin resistance are major contributors to erectile dysfunction in older men. When your blood sugar stays balanced, your body preserves sensitivity, hormonal balance, and steady blood flow, all crucial elements of performance and pleasure. Paul didn't go on any extreme diet. He simply began to listen to his body. He started snacking on raw carrots in the afternoon instead of chips. He roasted them in olive oil and garlic with dinner. Some mornings, he juiced them with apples before his walk. Little changes, consistently applied. 2 months later, he came back into my office. There was something different about him. His shoulders sat higher. His voice was lighter. And when he said, "Doc, we've been close again," I could see the emotion in his eyes. It wasn't just about sex. It was about reclaiming something personal, the pride of feeling like himself again. That's what real food can do. Not instantly, not dramatically, but steadily and deeply. Carrots don't just feed your biology, they feed the emotional soil where confidence grows back. And for men like Paul, and maybe for you, that quiet strength is worth more than any prescription. Now we've walked through 5 incredible vegetables that support your energy, blood flow, and hormones throughout the day. But there's still one more. It's not for your morning smoothie or lunch plate. This one works while you sleep. It helps restore circulation, improve testosterone production overnight, and prepare your body for the kind of mornings you haven't felt in years. Let's take a closer look. 6. Asparagus, the one vegetable before bed. There's something sacred about the hours when a man sleeps. It's in those quiet moments, long after the world has gone still, that the body begins to restore itself. Hormones recalibrate, blood vessels heal, strength is rebuilt, and if you're over 60, those nighttime hours matter more than ever. That's why what you choose to eat before bed can shape how you feel not just tomorrow morning, but for years to come. And tonight, I want to share with you one vegetable that holds incredible power when eaten at the right time. It isn't fancy, it isn't hyped, but it works. That vegetable is asparagus. I remember a patient named Lawrence. He was 75, a retired accountant. Thoughtful, polite, the kind of man who kept his emotions close. But on one particular visit, after we had finished reviewing his labs, he paused and said something I'll never forget. "Doc, I just want to feel useful again. Like I still matter." And I knew exactly what he meant. It wasn't just about tasks or productivity. It was about feeling connected, intimate, present in his own skin again. I suggested something simple, not a supplement, not a prescription, just a change to his evening routine. I asked him to try adding steamed asparagus to his dinner a few nights a week. Lightly sautéed, not overcooked, maybe finished with a touch of olive oil and sea salt. Nothing dramatic, but what asparagus does inside the body is anything but small. This vegetable is rich in folate, a nutrient that promotes healthy blood flow and nerve communication. It contains glutathione, a powerful antioxidant that protects the delicate tissues involved in arousal and recovery. And it's high in vitamin E, which helps regulate hormones and supports natural testosterone production. But the most beautiful thing about asparagus is how it aligns with the body's natural rhythm. Most testosterone is made while you sleep. If your body lacks the raw materials during those critical hours, that production slows down. Over time, this leads to fatigue, low drive, and that quiet sense of fading many men struggle to put into words. When Lawrence returned a few weeks later, I didn't need to ask how he was doing. He walked taller. His face looked rested. And when he said, "I've been waking up with energy again," I saw the spark that had returned to him, not just physically, but emotionally. He was present again, reconnected with his own sense of self. That's what asparagus can offer. Gentle, consistent support that works with your body, not against it. It doesn't force change. It encourages it. It prepares you not just for rest, but for renewal. And if you give it a place at your dinner table, your mornings might just start to feel different too. If you've stayed with me until now, I want to thank you, not just for listening, but for caring enough to keep learning, to keep trying. Today, we explored 6 simple vegetables that hold the quiet power to restore blood flow, support testosterone, and reignite a part of you that still matters deeply. This isn't about chasing youth. It's about honoring your body, your strength, and the life still waiting to be lived. You don't need to change everything at once. Just start with one choice, one meal, one moment. If this message spoke to you, type "I'll try" in the comments. And if you want to keep walking this journey with me, feel free to subscribe. Your next chapter isn't behind you. It's right here, and it's only just beginning. Stay tuned because the next video may hold the missing piece you've been looking for.